Dad text you?
Now, why would I talk to your dad?
Well, he said I was supposed to send me money for my birthday.
Well, no, he didn't send me any money for your birthday.
He said that he sent me money.
If he did give me money, I would pocket it.
Well, that's not fair, Mom. You can't keep my birthday money. I'm just gonna spend the weekend at his house. We're gonna go shopping and stuff.
Why would you want to spend the night over there? All he does is talk crap about me, and you let him. You let him talk crap about me. Like, why do you want to spend time with him? Because he lets you do whatever the hell you want. That's all. You want to end up just like your dad.
Hey, you gonna have a Pam?
Told you I tell you the women I'm gonna pay. Keep your eyes open in case something transpires. I'm $1 bill. Shut down. Pay no country bum nothing. Nothing.
I said I'm never coming back again. Next I stepped away from the mirror. I got my mind made up now, cause I can see the future much clearer. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clip. Shout out to them for making that skit. They make a bunch of skits. Like they say, kids figure out who's the problem. And let me pivot on and say it this way before I start. Some parents are stressed out because they're not getting the help they feel like they need or should have. And they take it out on their kids and they become a problem because the person that was actually the problem left them hanging. That happens. From my experience, most times what happens though is a parent is a problem and they create problems in the future for themselves. And the kid is like, oh, everybody else is the problem, but let's just say mom is not the problem. She's just going through a lot. And then as the kids get older, they realize, oh, you be setting up problems for yourself, and then you lose it when you wind up with a problem. So everybody else isn't the problem. It's you. So I'll say it in this way. You know how people say, it's my baby. And when they say it's my baby, they do everything in their power to make it their baby and their baby alone. Thus, people leave you with your baby. And then it's like, why are you not fighting me? I nobody told you I was gonna fight you forever. Just what you want to do it. And then when they can't do anything, they can't go anywhere, the kids stressing them out, they're not the best parent that they thought they were. Now their fantasy is crumbling, and they're angry and they're taking it out on the kid, and everybody's leaving them hanging, because it's not just like a father leaving them hanging. At some point, these mothers, your own family leaves you hanging because they're tired of you, because they realize you was a problem. And some of y'all created people as the problem, and then you walk away from them and leave them with their kids knowing that they're the problem, which creates a whole nother issue. The reason I'm doing this is when I saw this, me and my wife was watching BMF. And in one of the scenes of, I think the last episode, one of the brothers gave the sister who was pregnant money for her baby shower. And the mom, who's a pastor, who's the character right now, she just out of pocket. She stole the money because she was going through it, per se. And the sister got into it with one of the brothers because he had her do something that could have got her locked up. And she was like, what? And when she found out what it was, and she cussed him out. And then she said, and then he was like, well, you ain't say nothing when I gave you that money for your baby shower. She's like, what money? And I hate to say this, but most kids who are predominantly with their mom, their a lot of their moms stole from them at one point or the other. A lot of kids, and that's why people say, we know that quote unquote child support doesn't go to the kids, but it's deeper than that, because a lot of times when these kids want to do things, you know, there are plenty of stories where this is why dads cash app and give people money in their hand, and you drop off groceries and instead of just giving people money because of all the shenanigans. And then the kids figure out, oh, you're the problem. You're the problem. Because things that are supposed to be done are already done. You're just tearing down everything at your convenience, you know? And it's unfortunate, but a lot of time, too often, the kids wind up figuring out their mom's the problem when they're teenagers. And they're about to be adults. Sometimes they go live with their father. Sometimes they're stuck with their mother. And this is part of why you see people having, if you get on social media, there's a little section where people talk about disconnecting from their parents. Because sometimes, and I'm gonna use a cartoon reference. If anybody watched the Avatar Aang, not the Avatar of the blue people, the Avatar Aang, Zuko was a character. Zuko's dad scarred his face. His sister was crazy. His dad was crazy. His uncle Iroh, which is his dad's brother, went on his own path after his son died. But I say that to say this: there's a part where Zuko's dad, forgot his name already. He's a nutcase. So everything bad in him, he tries to get his dad's love by being by being a nutcase. And his uncle Iroh was trying to chill him out, like, you ain't got to do that. And it came a point where he said, listen, you're conflicted because you have this side of the family who's crazy, which I'm on, but the other part of you is this side of the family who's good people and got good sense. So you're conflicted in your DNA. But you got to choose, either you're going to be on the crazy side or the side with common sense. And I say that to say this. You have a lot of kids going through that inner battle in themselves and believing that, let's just say, mom's side, who might be crazy, is always right. So they act crazy like mom. And then something else tugs at them. And as they get older and they realize mom's the problem, and they go, damn, my dad don't act like that though. My dad's family don't act like that. But I thought they were the bad people, and because there's that little animosity, like, you got to be the bad people. You got to be the enemy. I'm going to treat you like the enemy, until they reach a point where they realize, oh, mom's the problem over there, and I'm mom's child, and now I'm the problem like mom over here. It's not them, it's me and it's her. And then you see, young adults come to terms with that, and they go, okay, I need to change. I need to stop. I need to stop. Because am I going to be like this as an adult? And part of what you see sometimes in a lot of people who are reckless, they get that from a side of their family who, and I say this in the sense of, because the family court and law enforcement have been enabling bad behavior for so many years, that you got generations of children and adults who people go, man, these kids don't comprehend and they don't pay attention. They always bucking authority. No. I get what you're saying, but some of y'all ain't put two and two together, that they're like that because They come from a family who was always getting away with stuff and doing stuff. That's what that is. That's why you can't. That's why they can't take no. That's why they can't just sit down. That's why they can't just pay attention. That's why they can't follow rules, because they come from a family that didn't have to follow rules and got and never got consequences for it. So they became that, and then they became a problem in society as a child, as a teenager, and now as a young adult and as an adult. And people go, oh, okay, because they don't. Because even sometimes people, adults, they don't realize they're the problem until they come across people who completely shut them down. Like, no, no, this about to end bad for you because I'm not the one dealing with this. So you have that. That's why you see guys out here doing stupid stuff. I saw a guy smashing somebody's car. I was like, you broad. And then you see that all on social media. Women being destructive, guys being destructive, losing it, being in relationships, but being complete, utter nutcase imbeciles, and on camera acting crazy. And it's like, yeah, y'all, you ain't figured out that your toxic relationships come from your toxic parenting. And some of y'all, y'all still love them, and I love them, and that's why y'all love people who crazy, because you love your mama that's crazy. But a lot of y'all feel really like, oh, I can't do this because they the problem, and that's why you have a lot of adults that have pushed away parents, because it's like, oh, you ruined my childhood, but you're not finna ruin my adult life. You're not finna ruin your grandkids. We ain't doing that. You get what I'm saying? So it's an interesting dynamic, man. Interesting dynamic. I'm gonna leave it at that though. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Peace.